Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the News Tonight, your one stop for the day's top stories. Let's start with the headlines. 3 soldiers, including an army officer, martyred in Jammu and Kashmir's Kupwara district. 2 terrorists killed in the attack on the Panjgam army camp close to the line of control. Prime Minister Narendra Modi flags off the Shimla-New Delhi flight under Udan scheme, says his government's endeavour is to provide all facilities available to the rich, now to the common man. India and Poland sign agreement to enhance cooperation in the agriculture sector. Poland reaffirms support for India's bid for NSG and UNSC membership. And film star and Lok Sabha MP from Gurdaspur, Vinod Khanna, passes away in Mumbai. He is remembered for many Bollywood hits. The 70-year-old Khanna acted in 146 films. Our top story: 3 soldiers and an army officer were martyred on Thursday in a terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Kupwara district. The army cordoned off the entire area after the attack. Meanwhile, stone pelting returned in the valley as a group of unidentified persons clashed with policemen in the district.
Terrorists targeted an army camp in Kashmir's Kupwara district on Thursday, killing at least 3 soldiers, including an army captain. The officer has been identified as Captain Ayush Yadav. 5 soldiers were also injured. 2 suspected Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists were killed in retaliatory action by security forces. The terrorists reportedly sneaked into the army camp after cutting the fencing.
The area was very small. It is not from one end to the other end. This garrison, being big, has many entries. So the terrorists were pushed to move out immediately out of the garrison by accurate fire from all directions.
Condemning the attack, Jammu and Kashmir's Deputy Chief Minister Nirmal Singh assured a befitting reply to Pakistan for trying to ruin the atmosphere in the valley.
हम कंडेम करते हैं बड़ी सख्ती से और जो शहीद हुए हैं उनको श्रद्धांजलि भेंट करते हैं। पाकिस्तान जिस तरीके से उसकी डेस्परेट उसके अटेम्प्ट्स रहती हैं और लगातार वो एक जंग जो है उसने छेड़ी हुई है और कश्मीर में यहाँ के हालात खराब करने के लिए और हर जो है वो कोशिश कर रहा है, लेकिन उसमें कामयाब नहीं होगा। उसकी ये जो कायराना हरकतें हैं उसको बाज आना चाहिए इसमें।
Soon after the attack, clashes between protesters and security forces erupted in Kralepora area of Kupwara district. The angry mob pelted stones at police and security personnel who retaliated by firing tear gas shells.
लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के लिए हमारे जो ट्रूप्स हैं, ऑफिसर्स हैं, जवान हैं, वो तैयार हैं और वो ट्रेंड हैं और हमारे पास इक्विपमेंट भी है। जब भी और उसमें हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव ये रहता है कि रिस्ट्रेन किया जाए, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा रिस्ट्रेंट हो और जो हमारा रिस्पांस है वो इफेक्टिव हो। तो एक बैलेंस हम बनाते हैं रिस्ट्रेन और इफेक्टिवनेस से और उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव ये रहता है कि यहाँ पे शांति रहे।
Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir police has arrested separatist leader Asiya Andrabi under the Public Safety Act. Andrabi is alleged to be the main separatist leader who incites women in the valley to pelt stones at security forces. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the scheme that aims to connect all of India by air, Udan, was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Shimla on Thursday. The scheme aims to make flights available to the common people at affordable prices.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the first Udan flight from Shimla to New Delhi on Thursday. Flagging off the maiden flight from Jubarhati Airport, the Prime Minister said close to 70 new airports will be connected by flights in the country over the next 1 year under the scheme.
हमने एक ऐसी नीति लाए हैं जिसमें मध्यम वर्ग का सामान्य मानवी भी हवाई यात्रा कर सकता है। अगर टैक्सी किराए का खर्चा 8 रुपया 10 रुपया किलोमीटर का होता है, दिल्ली पहुंचने में 8-9 घंटे लग जाते हैं, हवाई जहाज में किलोमीटर का 6-7 रुपया लगेगा और 1 घंटे में पहुंच जाएगा।
The Prime Minister also simultaneously flagged off regional connectivity scheme flights on the Kadapa-Hyderabad and Nanded-Hyderabad sectors through video conferencing. He also announced that the next flight to take off under the scheme will operate on the Mumbai-Nanded sector.
इस देश की जो सुविधाएं अमीरों को प्राप्त हैं वो मेरे देश के गरीब को भी मिलनी चाहिए। जो सामान्य व्यक्ति हवाई चप्पल पहन करके घूमता है वो मुझे हवाई जहाज में दिखना चाहिए, ये मेरा सपना है।
Under Udan, 5 airlines will operate on 128 routes connecting 70 airports, including 45 unserved and underserved airports across the country. Udan flights will connect airports spread across more than 20 states and union territories, making air travel affordable by capping fares at 2,500 rupees per seat per hour.
इस एक साल में 30 नए जोड़ने का इरादा लेकर के हम काम कर रहे हैं। 70 साल में 70, एक साल में 30।
Airline companies operating under the scheme are Air India subsidiary Alliance Air, SpiceJet, Air Deccan, Air Odisha and Turbo Megha. Udan is a key component of the National Civil Aviation Policy, which was released by the Ministry of Civil Aviation on June 15, 2016. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, the Supreme Court on Thursday said the Lokpal and Lokayuktas Act of 2013 is a workable piece of legislation and it is not right to keep its operations pending. The court also added that there was no justification for the government to hold the Lokpal Act in abeyance. As per the Act, the leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha will be part of the Lokpal selection panel. Now, at present, there is no leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha. The Apex Court had on the 28th of March reserved its verdict on a batch of pleas seeking the appointment of Lokpal in the country. During the hearing, Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi said that the Lokpal cannot be appointed in the current scenario as amendments regarding the definition of the leader of the opposition in the Lokpal Act was pending in Parliament.
It's a welcome thing. For 3 years, this Lokpal law has been in force, and unfortunately, it is not being effectuated. No Lokpal is being appointed, and the government has been making this various silly excuses, particularly the excuse that there is no leader of opposition because the Congress doesn't have enough seats, etc. Finally, the Supreme Court has rejected all these excuses.
President Pranab Mukherjee conferred the 52nd Gyanpith Award to Professor Shankha Ghosh in New Delhi on Thursday. Born in 1932 in Chandpur, now in Bangladesh, Ghosh is a stalwart in modern Bengali literature and a leading authority on Rabindranath Tagore. A graduate in Bengali literature from Kolkata's Presidency College, Ghosh began his career as a teacher, first at Calcutta University and later at Jadavpur and Vishwabharati University.
हम आशा करते हैं कि भविष्य में भी आपका
A professor of Bengali and an authority in his own right on the works of Rabindranath, Shankha Ghosh represents the fluid brilliance that characterizes India's multifarious literacy genius.
India successfully test-fired its intermediate-range ballistic missile Agni-3 from the Abdul Kalam Island off the Odisha coast. The missile lifted off from launch pad number 4 of the integrated test range located on the island at 9:12 a.m. The Strategic Forces Command, an especially raised missile handling unit of the Indian Army, carried out the tests with logistics support from the DRDO. Agni-3 has a strike range of over 3,000 kilometers and is capable of carrying both conventional and nuclear warheads weighing up to 1.5 tons. Now, with a length of 17 meters, the missile's diameter is 2 meters and its weight is measured around 2,200 kilograms. The missile was inducted in the armed forces in June 2011. Cyprus's President Nikos Anastasiades today expressed confidence that the recent revision in tax agreement will provide a boost to investment flows between India and Cyprus. The visiting president was speaking at a business event in Delhi where he pitched Cyprus as one of the fastest growing European nations with investment opportunities in various sectors. Anastasiades is on a 5-day visit to India. He is expected to call on the President, Prime Minister Modi and External Affairs Minister on Friday. Earlier in the day, he also visited Rajghat. And here's a look at what else making news across the country in Nationwide. The National Green Tribunal issued a contempt notice to the founder of the Art of Living Foundation, Sri Ravi Shankar, on a plea against him for blaming the centre and the panel for damaging the Yamuna floodplains. Earlier, Ravi Shankar had blamed the government and the NGT for permitting his organisation to hold the World Culture Festival in March 2016 and said that the event could have been stopped at the beginning itself if the river was so fragile and pure. An expert committee claimed that a whopping 42.02 crore rupees would be required to restore the floodplains, which was ravaged due to the AOL event. AIDMK Amma leader TTV Dinakaran was brought to Chennai by the Delhi police for further investigation in connection with an alleged bribery case. The police had secured warrants from a Delhi court to search the Chennai residence of Dinakaran as part of its probe. He was arrested on Tuesday night for allegedly attempting to bribe an election commission official to get the official AIDMK 2 leaves election symbol for his faction. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Thursday called for wider and more active use of social media to publicize work being done by the government. The CM gave the direction during a review meeting with the Department of Information and Public Relations. Adityanath said that the move will create awareness among people about what all was being done for their welfare. "23 Congress councillors of Itanagar Municipal Council have joined the BJP in presence of Chief Minister Pema Khandu and BJP State President Tapir Gao. The councillors expressed their confidence in the Khandu-led BJP government. Gao welcomed the new members and said that the party is happy to accept them into the BJP family. With a quick break here, we'll be back with more national and international news in a bit. Stay with us.
We are indeed in a, I would say, a golden age of astronomy if we look at capabilities that are coming up in the future. One of the key projects that the Institute of Astrophysics is involved in is the 30-meter telescope project, which is a global project to look at, to build the largest telescope on ground. This is a consortium of many countries. India is partner in that. India has roles where we bring in nearly 70% of the contribution in kind.
Watch Eureka with Dr. P. Srikumar, Director, Indian Institute of Astrophysics, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, affectionately known as Madiba, was South Africa's first democratically elected president, an international peacemaker and statesman, and a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Through a long career as an activist, Mandela was a crusader for equal rights for South Africa's black majority. Having undergone frequent imprisonment, in 1964, Mandela was sentenced to life in jail. Charged with sabotage, treason, and violent conspiracy, he narrowly escaped the gallows. He was released in 1990, having initiated talks with South African President de Klerk towards ending apartheid in the country. Mandela was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1993 for his efforts. In April 1994, the Mandela-led African National Congress won South Africa's first elections by universal suffrage. And Mandela was sworn in as president of the country's first multi-ethnic government. He retired from the presidency in 1999 and from public life in 2004. Nelson Mandela died on December 5, 2013 from a recurring lung infection.
Welcome back. Let's get you some details now coming in from Poland, where today it assured India of its support to New Delhi's bid for membership in the Elite Nuclear Suppliers Group, or NSG, and a permanent seat in the expanded UN Security Council. This was conveyed by Polish Prime Minister Beata Szydło to Vice President Hamid Ansari when the two leaders met at Warsaw to discuss issues of bilateral and mutual interests. The two countries also signed an agreement in the agriculture sector.
India and Poland on Thursday agreed to take their strong bilateral relationship to a higher level. Union Minister Giriraj Prasad Singh and Polish Agriculture Minister Krzysztof Jurgiel signed an MOU to deepen the bilateral ties in the field of agriculture. The move is expected to provide a framework for identifying specific areas for deeper cooperation.
We feel that there is much scope for our cooperation in sectors like food processing, solar energy, clean coal, treatment of wastewater, and solid waste, where Polish expertise can find opportunities in the rapidly growing Indian market.
The two countries also underscored the need to adopt a comprehensive and principled stance against terrorism. India also appreciated the support extended by Poland in this regard on several international forums.
I appreciate the support extended by Poland to India's membership of Missile Technology Control Regime and India's appreciation for the membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. We are happy to have Poland's support for India's claim for permanent membership of an expanded UN Security Council. I thank you, Prime Minister.
Poland also appreciated India's growing influence and economic progress. It is focusing on the areas of defense, mining and civil aviation for enhancing cooperation with India. India is a major investor in Poland, which is its largest trading partner in Central Europe. Indian investments in Poland amount to around $3 billion and Polish investments in India touch $600 million. Indian students are also visiting Poland to pursue professional and higher education. In the latter half of 2017, Poland will witness celebration of Indian festivals in several cities to showcase Indian culture.
India and Poland reviewed a wide gamut of bilateral ties. The two countries also decided to step up cooperation in the field of agriculture. This visit is expected to give fillip and new impetus to the India-Poland relations. Reporting from Warsaw with camerapersons Sanjay and Anirban and with inputs from Amrita Rai, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Tensions in the Korean peninsula are high since the deployment of the THAAD anti-missile system near Seoul. The US and South Korea have now vowed to operationalize the system soon. The countries see it as a defense against North Korea's nuclear arsenal, even as Pyongyang calls it US aggression.
US and South Korea have agreed to secure operational capability of the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense or THAAD system as soon as possible. Parts of the system were moved to its deployment site south of Seoul on Wednesday, signaling a faster installation of the system. This has been done keeping in mind the threat from North Korea.
시범 운영이 아니고 이미 한미가 이 일부 전력을 배치한 것은 이제 북한이 도발을 하면 대응할 수 있는 그런 능력을 갖춘 겁니다.
The THAAD was devised last year to counter the threat of missile launches by North Korea. But China says the system's advanced radar can penetrate deep into its territory and undermine its security, even as it will do little to deter the North. China has opposed the anti-missile system, even asking Washington to withdraw it. However, China now says it is positive that the US is open to resolving tensions over North Korea through talks.
我们注意到了这些表态，也注意到了表态中传递出的希望通过对话协商和平解决朝鲜半岛核问题的。
Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump invited all 100 members of the Senate to attend a very unusual meeting at the White House late Wednesday.
And I think, they it was a sobering briefing in which it was clear just how much thought and planning is going into preparing military options if called for, and a diplomatic strategy that strikes me as clear-eyed and well proportioned to the threat.
And I think the best way to minimize conflict with North Korea is for Kim Jong-un to understand unequivocally that if he launches an attack on the United States or our allies, or if he attempts to go forward with nuclear tests, to go forward with placing a nuclear warhead in an ICBM that could reach the American mainland, that the repercussions will be very significant.
The briefings came a day after North Korea celebrated the 85th anniversary of the founding of its army. While in the past, North Korea staged nuclear tests to mark the day, this year it conducted a live fire exercise. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in a first, India has supported the sanctions imposed against North Korea. India is going to put sanctions as had been advised by the United Nations Security Council from time to time. With a view to inform businesses and other stakeholders in India, the compliance of sanctions has been published in the Gazette of India, and violation will be a punishable offence. India has banned export of anything that might be used in the production of nuclear weapons and frozen all financial sources. Luxury items, jewellery, gems and automobiles have also been banned. However, India has exempted food items and medicines from the list of banned items as a humanitarian gesture. In more international news, Israel's intelligence minister has all but confirmed that the country's air force was behind the airstrikes near Damascus airport. The airstrikes hit a weapons depot used by Iranian-backed militia loyal to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Israel's intelligence minister, Yisrael Katz, said that the strike corresponds with Israel's policy to act to prevent Iran's smuggling of advanced weapons via Syria to Hezbollah in Iran. However, he refused to comment specifically on the strike. It was reported earlier that a large explosion had rocked the Syrian capital and a fire had broken out near its airport. The explosion was reportedly so loud that it was heard across the capital, jolting residents awake. Syria is in the 6th year of a bloody civil war pitting President Bashar al-Assad's government and his allies against opposition forces. The war has left more than 400,000 people dead. With that, here are some more international news updates in Global Buzz. The European Parliament believes that the fake job scandal involving French presidential candidate Marine Le Pen's National Front party has cost the institutions nearly €5 million. Reports further claim that the cost of the scandal, which involves employment of assistants and a bodyguard, has risen to nearly an astounding amount after new information was discovered. The previous cost was estimated at €1.9 million. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said on Thursday that Britain's negotiations to leave the EU will be very demanding, both for the British people and also the remaining 27 members of the bloc. She also said that the Brexit negotiations could only get going properly after Britain's June 8th elections. US President Donald Trump told leaders of Canada and Mexico on Wednesday that he will not terminate the North American Free Trade Agreement or NAFTA treaty at this stage, but will move quickly to begin renegotiating it with them. The announcement came after White House disclosed that Trump and his advisors had been considering issuing an executive order to withdraw the US from the trade pact with Canada and Mexico, one of the world's biggest trading blocs. And finally, we end the show with a tribute to veteran Bollywood actor and Lok Sabha MP Vinod Khanna, who passed away today in Mumbai. Popular as one of the most handsome actors of Hindi cinema, Vinod Khanna made his acting debut in 1968. His many hit films include Kurbani, Amar Akbar Anthony and Insaf. Vinod Khanna was the BJP MP from Punjab's Gurdaspur constituency. He was battling cancer and breathed his last at 11:20 a.m. at a Mumbai hospital.
हम तुम्हें चाहते हैं से मरने वाला कोई जिंदगी बात बिगड़ जाए, जब कोई मुश्किल पड़ जाए, तुम देना साथ मेरा ओ हमनवा।
जाते हो जाने जा